died of a fever and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Malik alone. Now her horse wheels her barrow, the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels alive, alive, oh. Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels alive, alive, oh.
Hello, this is Anne Casey from West Clare, coming to you from Sydney, Australia. This is my poem, Where Gulls Cry. I could tell you how the whole earth seems to end at this one place, where the land falls cleanly into a tumultuous thundering, the relentless roar of furious millennia, crashing iced cobalt against 300 million years of vertical bituminous siltstone stubbornness, all overlaid with a violence of vivid greenness, inconceivable until witnessed, where the sky splits open above, brewing caliginousness charcoal yielding to an inevitability of iridescence, streaming shards, spearing, simmering, drizzle-laden mists, all lit as if from within with an otherworldly luminosity approximating divinity. A scene so sharp yet ethereal, surreal, imprinted in a part of self, within but apart, that might burst from this pulsing bone suit, this shadow world flesh mantle, sheerly in the act of reliving that reminiscence. I could tell you all of that, or I could say how much this exiled soul aches for home.
Hello, I'm Amy Berry, reading from Ireland. A poem I'll be reading is for my brother, a chef, a painter, and a singer, and it's called Seeing Rain. A song like fruit hangs in front of me, whose lyrics fly with the wind, his boyish face to the sea. Days before, on a Skype call, patchy as a Spanish field, he told me he'd chosen to die before death could choose him first. Do you remember the song I played? He asked through talk of our teenage years. His face had become our father's face, and 3 days later, clear of voice, his throat carried no air. I am left to inherit his recipes, his art, his Levi's, his borrowed songs, which I take for myself, mumbling, "Have you ever seen the rain?" Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm greeting you from Italy. I am an Italian poetess. My name is Maria Miraglia. I have to thank my dear friend from Ireland, Amy Berry, who invited me to this online poetry meeting. She asked me to read a poem in Italian, and the title in English of this poem of mine is Inadequate. In Italian it is Inadeguato. Going to read. Hope you will like it, will appreciate it. Pensavi di aver imparato ad accettarlo, il dolore, anche non perché non puoi rifiutarlo. Arriva all'improvviso, quando meno te lo aspetti, per devastarti dentro, rompere tutte quelle strutture mentali che nel tempo hai costruito per difenderti. Non lo vedi, ma lo senti come lame. Lacerare quei fili come di ragnatela che hai tessuto e a fatica nel tempo. Ti dici, conosco oramai la vita. Ti senti preparato a passare attraverso nuove intemperie che sono là pronte a sorprenderti ancora, a farti sentire inadeguato, a pensare di dover ricominciare tutto da capo per capire, comprendere, accettare. By
Merhaba, ben Leyla Işık, İzmir, Türkiye'den. Şiirimin adı Gelmedin diye. Şiirimi okuyorum. Usanmadım, bekledim. Her akşam bu kumsalda seni. Süzüle süzüle terk etti bulutlar gök kubbeyi. Zakkumlar boynunu büktü, hüzünlendi pembeleri. Issız kaldı gönlümün köşeleri, gelmedin diye. Sensiz deniz coştu, köpürdü dalgalar kederinden. Öfkeyle etek açtı, karanlık kapladı her yeri. Uçmak istemiyor gökyüzünde martılar yorgun. Deniz, kumsal, seven kalbim hep üzgün. Gelmedin diye. Rüzgarlar iç çekiyor, hüzünlü akşamın çöküşü. Keyifsiz ışıldıyor denize uzanan ışıklar. Çiçekler solgun, döküldü salkım söğütten yapraklar. Maviler, yeşiller sana hep küskün. Gelmedin diye, gelmedin diye, gelmedin diye. Sevgilerimle.
I was on Facebook, wishing to be gone. I was at work, wishing to be gone. I was saving money, wishing to be gone. I was making my ticket, wishing to be gone. I was packing my bags, wishing to be gone. I was at the airport, wishing to be gone. I was on the airplane, still wishing to be gone. I was in the air, finally, I was gone. Then I was in another airport, gone. I was listening to another language, gone. I was smoking a cigarette, watching new people I'd never seen before, go on. I was in a taxi, gone. I was in the center of the city eating crepes and queso, gone. Knowing I had left, I was in El Iglesia, San Martini, taking the cloth, accepting the rose robes, all the way gone. I was on the bus, going to where I had to. I was in a tuk-tuk, anxious to arrive. I got to where I was going. Finally, I was there. I saw the temple from the road. I climbed the stairs. I meditated on the top, conjuring to be gone. I saw the door in the ceiling. I knocked 3 times. Nothing happened. I sat there waiting, anxious to be gone again. Then they answered. An invisible opened it up with, I will take you to where you need to go, to the out. In there, in that out, you will go. There you will finally see us, who've been expecting you. But that, of course, you already know. In that out, I saw the invisibles. In that out, they sang songs of the jungle. In that out, they performed ceremonies from the realms of the gone. In that out, the jungle vanished. In that out, the limestone city appeared, fresh and untarnished. Maximum capacity of inhabitants in motion, all alive. In that out, the priest surrounded. In that out, the priestess arrived. In that out, they called me by a different name. In that out, the name was not new. It felt even better than my name and our now. In that out, I resumed my ancient position. In that out, I confirmed their ancient predictions. In that out, they gave me smoke. They revived my Akashic memories. The elders came to me instantly talking about, you who are of T-Jax, look here into the obsidian plate, the emerald in your eyes, the jade in your teeth, those obsidian necklaces that many moons ago you hunted while under the gaze of the blood moons your wife assembled. She who is one with Ikshel, you who are one with June Abku, count the stones and tell of your journeys and what you've been through. Be ruthlessly honest about that future that now you come from and will go back forever gone. Travelers, landing, going, staying, leaving, going, staying, looking, waiting, watching, learning, developing, knowing, until using what they found, picked up, seen, learned, saw travel and becoming one with a new place, accepted on impact. To be a tourist, habitual seekers doing the tourist, addicted to the new, elements away from out of what was before the journey. Travelers change themselves with travel. When they travel with the intent to change, expanding the economy of the chosen locations, being available to the open arms of nature, dreaming changes too then, from dreaming of a place to being in it, knowing that they contain the ability to manifest their own conquest for change.
Hi, this is Tanya. I'm gonna read from my new book, The World Still Within, Waiting. When I think of you, rain comes. When I call you, you come in rain. When I touch you, you disappear in rain. Bring me raw garlic and a handful of bitter green wormwood. I will eat them and stay in cave. 21 days, 100 days. That's how bear became woman. I will do the same if I can see you one last time. There is another myth. When you fold 1,000 paper cranes, your dream comes true. If I can see you one last time, I feel 4,000s, 10,000s paper cranes. I want to open your apartment door again with the key that you sent by mail. The key still warm from your hand. I want to hang my clothes in your closet, between your clothes. I want to feel safe there again. Waiting for you is nothing. Without blinking, I watch. The night becomes silver rain in blue light. I wait for you like a rock on the waterline, wishing you to be a wave and reach me. If you touch, I will collapse and be water like you. American Dream. Lunchtime is over. The deli is like a cemetery. I weigh salad on scale, punch numbers on register. 12 hours a day standing for my hungry stomach. What about the dream of America? Don't you dare to ask this question. Once, waiting to be somebody, wore me out, deplete my soul. No more. Invisible like a ghost, obedient like a selfie, deaf as a Grand Canyon rock. Who am I to you, America? So I'm gonna read to you in Korean. American Dream. 점심시간 끝나면 델리는 묘지로 변해. 하루 12시간씩 계산대 앞에 서서 저울에 올려진 샐러드를 찍지, 먹기 위해서. American Dream. 그렇게 함부로 묻지 마. 물론 꿈을 이루려고 진을 빼던 한때가 있었지. 그러다 내 영혼까지 소멸된 걸. 그래서 보이지 않는 유령처럼, 말 잘 듣는 알래스카 나스키처럼, 그랜 캐년의 바위처럼 침묵하며 살지. Thank you.
Hello, this is FAHREDIN SHEHU speaking from Kosovo. I'm the poet who authored over 20 books of poetry, essays, and novels. My poetry is translated in over 20 world languages, and I'm the director of International Poetry Festival Poetry and Wine in Rahovec, Kosovo. I'm going to read this time the poem titled The Augmentation, and it is as follows. They stretched their wings beneath whom tiny bells rang. The smell of ozone evaporated, and the crystalline echoes shuddered my skin. The day was long, longer than any. The night was long and dark as ink. The hours were counted by the appearance of dandelions. The days were counted by eggs. On every morning, I saw the sky showing the Avesta page by page. I took the dew with my tongue from the last green leaf of the amaryllis. The maelstrom twisted me entirely and projected me in her dream. Thank you very much.
The Headhunter's Daughter. Her hair, blue-black and silky, hung down to her waist. Her breasts, pert, round and perfect, were exactly to her taste. As sweet and soft as wild hibiscus, a maiden to her core. A short sarong from hip to knee was all she usually wore. 100 gods had laboured on the perfection of her face, and her steps were slow and graceful, with seduction in every pace. Washed clean in jungle rivers, kissed by the tropic sun, she was the sweetest thing of 15 years, and her life had just begun. She chose her lovers wisely, sleek and sure as a jungle cat, and all the young men thought about was to share her sleeping mat. And when she was quite certain, with touch and glances long, she lured him to her bedside and opened her sarong. And when she was quite certain and happy with her choice, she let him love her one more time and then gave her thoughts a voice. You've given me much pleasure. I know the same is true for you. I feel life start within my belly as it's supposed to do. Now early in the morning, get up and leave my bed and prove to me you are a man, and go, fetch me a head.
Hi there, I'm PC Vandal, and I'm pleased to be sharing a couple of poems for Poetry Day. I will be reading from my latest book, The Blue Moth of Morning. The first poem I'm going to read was written after I had a dream that I wrote the best poem in the entire world. And in the dream, I kept saying to myself, don't forget the words. But of course, I woke up and promptly forgot all the words. So instead, I wrote an ode. This is Ode to a Poem. I wrote a poem Neruda would blush at, Blake would find innocent, and Ginsberg would howl at. The poem was bathed in the plum shade of an oaky flower. Imagine blooming a poem like that, words perfuming the body in one delectable sentence after another. I wrote the poem last winter, before the snow. Or perhaps it was September, ripe and red as the wood stove, pushing heat up the smokestack to pant hot spurts into the starry sky. The poem had no heart, soul, or glass to shatter it. There were no carnal apples or oranges sliced, but it quivered like a grove of aspens. No poem, not even the sallow sunflower dripping seeds from its black eye, not even the weight of a song could compare. The poem, not this poem, was the best poem ever written, and when I read its sublime words out loud, there was a silence unheard of. I wish you could have heard it. The poem fractured time and space. Each word splintered the bone-white page. The poem rose like a ghost ship out of water, breaching the surface like a whale caught in a bohemian fog. I wanted to share that poem with you today, but the poem had a previous engagement and sent me in its place. Great poems can do that. Poets can't. So, this next poem was written from the point of view of an editor editing my island. This is called Editing an Island. Diving right in, I felt it got off to a rocky start. My head was swimming by the third line, and I was getting tired of going in circles. Perhaps people might connect better with an airport or a bridge. Which reminds me, I found it a tad dark in places. There were far too many trees. Maybe if you cut out some of the forest, it would lighten it up a bit. A few streetlights couldn't hurt. Did you sense, as I did, that the shoreline had entirely too much water? The sand dollars were drowning in it, and the beach imagery fell flat. The water seemed to interrupt the natural flow of things. You might be inclined to include some hills, a mountain, or a park bench to sit on. It might do you some good to abandon the small stucco houses, the marina and seaside pub. There wasn't enough there to hold it together. Even your foghorns and barking seals put me to sleep. Overall, it felt closed off from the real world, and it moved too slowly for my liking. The only thing worth keeping was the line of ferry traffic curled like a comma around the corner past the ocean blue sign printed with "One sailing weight from here." Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Clara Burgheleia. I am a Romanian-born poet, and I'm happy to be reading with you today. I'm going to first read a poem from Romanian written by the famous Romanian poet Nina Casian. It is called Donna Miraculata, and I'll be reading the Romanian version and my English translation. Then I will read one of my own poems. Donna Miraculata, de Nina Casian. De când m-ai părăsit, mă fac tot mai frumoasă, ca hoitul luminând în întuneric. Nu mi se mai observă fragila mea carcasă, nici ochiul devenit mai fix și sferic, nici zdreanța mâinilor pe obiecte, nici mersul, inutil desfigurat de jind, ci doar cruzimea ta, pe tâmplele imperfecte, ca nimbul putregaiului sclipind. Donna Miraculata. And since you left me, I've turned into a bell, a carcass sparkling in the dark. You can no longer trace my frail shell, neither my eye, rounder and stark, nor can my sluggish hands feel life, my hollow walk consumed by yearning, your cruel gaze, my temples running rife, the halo of my body burning. Next is my own poem called Wanted. Wanted, someone to unbutton the heavy coat of the day, throw it loose on a chair, the bare flame of a thought caught in the worn-out fabric, unpack happenings, before the grime of the hours thickens like habit, march waiting outside, ready to cup its palms around my breasts, breathing its mouth of rain and green into my face. Except there is still a snow flurry on the tips of the grass, a tug of hunger gnawing at my inside, and a throat full of uncertain tomorrows. You say falling is for dreams. Your arms are wide enough to hold threaded light, tend to the seeping wounds, tongue, gaze, and touch, roll out the lost hems of the broken. I'm just to wait, let the world speak to me like a good poem, before something settles. Thank you for listening.
Hello, and happy Poetry Day Ireland from Saarland, Germany's smallest federal state. My name is Sven KRETZSCHMAR, and I'm a poet and the head of the German-Irish Society Saarland. For the day that's in it, I'm going to read a poem that draws inspiration from Michael Longley's fine piece, Age, and that was recently published in the April 2021 edition of Life Encounters Poetry and Writing. The title of my poem is Fragments of Living, and it is dedicated to a young woman who runs a blog by the same name. Fragments of Living, for Sabrina Lorenz, after Michael Longley. This village keeps expanding on my pages for decades on end. I have watched the wind ruffle rivers and ponds, skim along cornfields ripe for harvest. My gaze climbed acacias during breathers in tent camps where I grew from child to adult, from attender to carer, in summers when we got dotted with mosquito bites and finger paint during playtime. I have counted the neighbors that retired, whose driveways I observed from my study window before age came to call them up. Weekly revisits, my hand on their headstones, rarely an afterglow from the past. The 35 pubs we once had on High Street, fragments of living, of how we fall into the world and shrink to its bones. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is SHEILA FITZPATRICK O'Donnell and I live in Shannagolden, County Limerick. The title of my poem is April. April. It is late April and the sun has visited my cottage garden in Shannagolden today. I peg out the laundry and the smell of summer arouses my senses. The warm earth beneath my feet is breathing. Daisies, dandelions, cowslip and bluebells. The bells of the Angelas are ringing out and I feel blessed. Under this magnificent blue sky, birds are singing and Valentino the piebald horse is rocking and rolling in the paddock. Coco the guard dog is sprawled out in a bed of high grass under the yellow magnolia. And I am carried away with that nostalgic smell of campfire from the back field. When some whore of a one calls my name and dampens my spirits when she says, "Yeah, but the rain is never too far off." Moody cow.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré, l'a promis. Dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens en moi quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi pour lui, dans la vue. Il me l'a dit, l'a juré, l'a promis. Et dès que je l'aperçois,